Hello everyone, welcome to our new video. As we know that a program serves the purpose of commanding the computer, the efficiency and the usefulness of a program depends not only on proper use of command but also on the programming language it is written in. So now many third generation language programming languages are there which can be used to do any of the thousands of things that a computer software can do. So one of the most popular programming language is Java. With the features it offers, it has become the language of choice for internet and intranet applications. Java programming language plays an important role for the proper functioning of many software-based devices attached to a network. The kind of functionality the Java offers has contributed a lot towards the popularity of Java. So now let's begin this video. In this video, we are going to talk about a brief history of Java, its features and functionality. So let's start the video. Now Java is a both programming language and a platform. Like any other programming language, we can use Java to write or create various types of computer applications. So therefore, Java fits the definition of a programming language. Java is also a platform for application development. The word platform generally used to refer some combinations of hardware and softwares. The platform is a new software platform that is different from many other platforms. If it is designed to deliver and run highly interactive, dynamic, and secure applications on network computer systems. Java, which is a high level programming language that originally developed by Sun Microsystems and released in the year of 1995. The Java programming language was written by James Gosling along with two other persons, Mike Sheridan and Patrick Norton, while they were working at Sun Microsystems. Ever since its introduction, it has gone through many changes. Originally, the Java started as an elite project. The codename was Green to find a way allowing different electronic devices such as TV boxes and controllers to use a common languages. But it was too advanced technology for the digital cable television industry at that time. So the team members initiated the project to develop a language for digital devices. However, it was suited for internet programming. Later, the technology, Java technology, was incorporated by Netscape. So the Java, it runs on variety of platforms such as Windows, Macintosh OS, and the various versions of Unix. Now let's understand the concept of bytecode. As we know that the computer programs are very closely tied to the specific hardware and operating system they run on. For example, suppose a Windows program will not be able to run on a computer that only runs DOS. A Mac application cannot run on a Unix workstation and so on. So to tackle with this diversity of platforms, major commercial applications have to be written almost independently for all different platforms they run on. But for the application developed with Java, this is not in the case. For these applications, our platform independent. That is, they are not affected with changing platforms. Java solves the problem of platform independence by using bytecode. In order to understand the bytecode, we must clear about the compilation process first. So let's see how the compilation process works. We all know that a program is a set of instructions given to a computer. So the program or the code written by a programmer is usually called the source code. This source code needs to be converted into machine language code which a computer can easily understand. So the process of converting a source code into its corresponding machine code is called the compilation. Now the converted machine code, it depends a lot on the platform on which it is executing. That means for different platform, different machine code is produced. This resultant machine code is called the native executable code. In case of Java program, there exists a Java compiler named Javac, a program that compiles Java source code into compiled bytecode. There is an alternative to compiling a high level language program. Instead of using a compiler which translate the program all at once, we can use an interpreter which translate it instruction by instruction. In order to execute a program, the interpreter repeatedly reads one instruction from the program, decides what is necessary to carry out that instruction, and then it performs the appropriate machine language command to do so. So, contrary to the other compilers, the Java compiler does not produce the native executable code for a particular machine. Instead, it produces a special format called bytecode. The Java bytecode is a machine instruction for a Java processor chip called the Java Virtual Machine. The bytecode is independent of the computer system that is run upon. So the Java bytecode, it looks like a lot of machine language code, but unlike machine language, Java bytecode is exactly the same on every platform. This bytecode means the same thing in case of a Windows platform as it does on a Macintosh platform or any other platform. However, the Java programs have been compiled into bytecode still need an interpreter to execute them on any given platform. So in Java, compiler and interpreter both works. The interpreter reads the bytecode and translate it into the native executable code for the host machine. Since this bytecode is completely platform independent, only the interpreter and a few native libraries need to be ported to get Java to run on a new computer or operating system. So let's talk about the Java Virtual Machine or JVM. As we are aware that any source program needs to be either compiled or interpreted before it can be executed, but we already know that Java need combination of these two. So in case of Java, the programs are compiled. After that, they are getting interpreted. So compiler interpreter both works in Java. The programs that are written in Java are compiled into Java bytecode, which is then interpreted by a special Java interpreter for a specific platform. Actually, this Java interpreter is called Java Virtual Machine. The machine language for the Java Virtual Machine is called the Java bytecode. Actually, the Java interpreter running on any machine appears and behave like a virtual processor chip. That is why the name Java Virtual Machine. The Java Virtual Machine, it's an abstract machine designing to be implemented on the top of existing processors. Obviously, it hides the underlying operating system from Java applications. The Java Virtual Machine can be implemented in software or hardware. So this JVM or Java Virtual Machine is combined with Java Application Programming Interface, the Java API that makes the Java platform are the libraries of compiled code that can be used in our Java programs. Thus, we can write a Java program having the extension with .java. They are called Java files or any platform and use the JVM compiler, which is also called JavaC, to generate the bytecode file. Now this bytecode file has the extension of .class, so they are called .class files. This bytecode file can be used on any platform that has installed Java. However, the bytecode is not an executable file. To execute a bytecode file, we need to invoke a Java interpreter that is called Java. Every platform has its own Java interpreter which will automatically address the platform specific issue. When platform specific operations are required by the bytecode, the Java interpreter fills this need by linking in appropriate code to the platform. So let's understand some characteristics of Java. Although Java has many characteristics that make it eligible for a powerful and popular language, now we're discussing here uh, some few important characteristics of Java. The first one is write once, run anywhere. The Java programs need to be written just once, which can be run on different platforms without making changes in the Java program. Only the Java interpreter changed depending on the platform. A lightweight code. With Java, big and useful applications can also be created with just very light code. No huge coding is required. Object oriented. As we know that Java, everything is based on an object. So Java can be easily extended since it is based on the object oriented programming model. Next one is the security. The Java offers many security features to make it programs safe and secure. Next one is platform independent. Java is essentially platform independent. Changes of platform doesn't affect the original Java program or the application. Java supports multimedia. Java is ideally suited for integration integration of the video, audio, animation and graphics in the internet environment. Java offers many built-in graphics features and routines which can be used to make Java applications more visual. Java is a robust. Java makes an effort to eliminate error-prone situations by emphasizing mainly on compile time error checking and runtime checking errors. Java is the open product. A Java is an open product freely available to all. However, there exists some special time-saving Java development kits which can be applied by paying so small amounts. Now, there are two types of Java programs. One is called the standalone applications, another one is called the Java applets or internet applets. The internet applets are small programs that are embedded in a web pages and are run on the viewer's machine in a secured manner by the Java capable browsers. Applets are designed to be delivered to internet web browsers, and that is why an applet has a built-in graphical window. The second type of Java program, which is a standalone application, it is generally a software application that doesn't require a low-level operating system or hardware access. This includes the most of the usual desktop applications such as word processor or spreadsheets. Every standalone application of Java, it begins executing a main method. So now let's understand the structure of a Java program. In the structure of the Java program, it always initiate with a class name. So the line that we have written here, public class first program. So this line, class first program, it means that a class is being defined. Here the class name is first program in our program. Also, this is the initial class. An initial class is the one that defines the program name. An initial class that contains the main function inside init. And we can see that in our program, first program, there exists a main method inside init. In case of writing a Java program, to declare a class, the class to declare a class name, it always begins with the keyword class. We have to use the keyword class, and after that we have to write the name of the class. Now, inside in this initial class, there exists a method main. The class first program contains one method. This is the main method. The main method is where an application begins its execution. If there are multiple classes in a program, the execution will begin from the initial class, that is the class containing the main method. If no main method is there, no execution will take place. This main method, it's also sometimes called the driver method that drives our program. Here the main method declared as public static void main. Now our next statement, which is system.out.println, and inside in this statement we have written within double quotes my first Java program. This statement prints my first Java program. The sentence my first Java program, this will print by the statement on the standard output device, which is generally our monitor. So while writing the Java program, we have to remember some points here that Java is a case sensitive language. So look at this out.println. The first letter of the word system is a capital letter. Since Java is a case sensitive language, so we have to use that representation of that sentences. Now, while declaring a class, it must begins with a class keyword. Then we have to write the name of our class. Inside the class, since this structure of the Java program contains only one class, it has it's called the initial class. Inside the initial class, we have the method, the main method, that is also the driver method. And the main method, we always write it like public static void main. Both the class and the main method that has the beginning and ending, and that must be marked by the curly braces. So the opening curly braces indicates the opening of the method or the class, and the closed curly braces indicates the closed of the main function and as well as the ending of the class. Now this program only prints the sentence my first Java program on the output screen to the output screen. The print ln, it means to print the string or text provided in the brackets and then add a line break like the enter key. So this is the brief introduction about the Java programming language. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, then hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe the channel and hit the notification bell icon for regular updates. Thank you all.